The wide receiver unit this past season, I think you could best sum it up as a tale of two halves, right? Like early on in the season, it was not there. Let's be honest, it was not there. But I think it was a culmination of a few things. I think it was one, just the lack of chemistry with the quarterbacks. I think you look at early on in the season, they played both Stephon Brown and Peyton Thompson, and I just think it was tough to get a feel for. You also look at the offensive line was indeed a problem because it just was not, the quarterbacks were not able to sit in the pocket and necessarily to hit the people. I think what you saw in the second half of the season, I think better reflects what that unit is, and I want to give receivers coach James Curley a lot of credit because there was a lot of change in that unit from last season. As I think literally the only returning receiver was Johnny Manziel the fourth. So I give him credit for doing what he did with that receiver unit. I think if you just take a step back and look at that unit, there's a lot of talent there. I think Jacob Delso, the Shakota native, the Eastern Michigan transfer, I by far okay. I was surprised honestly, because once he got going, he got going. If you recall, he should have had a touchdown in the season opener. I think Steph missed him, but once he got going, I was very pleased. He had that beautiful one-handed catch against Missouri. Had the beautiful touchdown against Lincoln. He's a guy that affects you in all phases of the game. I think this is a guy that's willing to go across the middle. Now, I don't know if it's to the same degree as Bazel the fourth, but he's willing to go across the middle of the field. Uh, he can affect you in the intermediate, and the deep game. I'm really excited to see what he's doing, especially if the offense opens up. I think if the offense opens up, we will see better numbers. But I think that also depends on the offensive line, okay? Because the offensive line, let's be honest here, there was almost no consistency in the offensive line. They did improve throughout the season, but like there's still times though when it just was not there. Like when you, I forgot which game it was. Was it the Kearney or Wasper? They came out of a timeout and allowed a sack, right? Like you can't do it. Like you gotta, right? Like there was times on the third and fourth and short where you have to execute the block, and they did not. Like the offensive line got to take the next step. I'm returning, I think everybody to my knowledge at this point, which is very good. They also brought in that transfer from SWASU. I just really hope that unit can come together because to me that's going to be the key. Because as we have seen, we looked at the quarterbacks, at the running backs, and now at the receivers, talent is there. I think I think Jacob Delso is a top tier receiver in his conference. We just have to be able to to give him a chance to truly show that. I think the same also goes for Madison Ridgeway. This is a guy, and again, I want to shout out the man's father here for listening the way he does, supporting the podcast. I appreciate that, Mr. Ridgeway. This is a guy I legitimately when I watched that film about this time last year for signing day, Cat, I just knew this man was going to be a difference maker. Now, unfortunately for Madison, he was banged up there early in the season. That's why he only played in 6 games. But I'm going to take it right now. Put on that Fort Hayes tape. Put on the Fort Hayes tape. You can see what the man brings to the table. I remember the guy here. He's 6'3". He so obviously it's tough. You jam him, try to jam the man off the line. I will say he's faster than you think he is. I got it's like Josh Crockett vibes. I don't know if he's as fast as Josh Crockett is, but like that's basically what I'm seeing out of Madison Ridgeway. And if you were here when Josh Crockett was there, oh boy, man was a beast. The man was an absolute beast. I think if we get Madison going in there, because you look at the impact he had in the 6 games, because you got to also factor in, right, when he comes in, he still got to get acclimated. Like, so I really think that Fort Hayes game was his breakout game. He also had nice catches against, was it Kearney? It was either Kearney and Washburn, and then I know he had a few against Central Missouri. I'm telling you right now, that's a guy I fully expect, if he can stay healthy, to have a breakout season. I'm that high on the man. They also played several freshmen, whether it be redshirt or true. You got Terrell Davis out of Choctaw. Somebody I say reminded me a lot of Leeliot Curry. We saw it in spurts. Okay, we saw it in spurts. He sort of had a touchdown against Northeastern State. He dropped it. He's got to get more consistent there. You can't just have one good game, then a few bad games, then one good game. But you definitely saw the potential there. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kavion Williams does. The guy out of Westmore. He was a starting kick returner day one. Finished with 3 catches. I think. I mean, when I watched the tape, I was like, "This is JT Looper Part 2." I just think he's going to just need to give him more opportunities. I think it's just. I'm still high on the man. I'm just say that I'm still high on the man. I will say, Joe, the receiver I feel like we need the most out of is Javion Dangerfield. We're just gonna call it what it is. You right, because here's the thing. When Johnny Bazell was the punt returner, I was never afraid of a muff. Okay, now what I was afraid with Johnny when he came on, I'll link that interview above as well. When he came on, I even mentioned when my fear was him running up into like 3 or 4 defenders to field it, but I was never worried about Johnny muffing the punt. Okay, unfortunately, with Javion, it scared me every time he was back there to field the punt. I just would almost have rather the punt bounce and he not field it, because he muffed a few punts, and then in the receiving game, it just the drops, and we just got to see more. Obviously, he's a guy, you go back to that sign, I think it was in 2020. I was high on the man because he's definitely a burner. He definitely has speed, but we just got to put it together. We've got to put it together. And then obviously, if you're rounding out the receiving unit, Johnny Manziel the fourth, I was unfortunate he was not able to get a touchdown in his last season in the UCO uniform. That's just the guy. His career did not go, I'm sure, as many have thought when he signed as a state champion winning quarterback out of Carl Albert. But I can tell you this, though. The guys respected the hell out of that man. I did. It just, the way he was willing to do the little things to help the team win, go across the middle, to throw the block, to make that third and short catch. You don't see that often. Let's be honest here. You just don't see that often in today's football. I'm just gonna miss that, man. I find out that's gonna be how it is. In the same when we're looking at the tight end in the H-back unit, you could say the same with Dante McGee. We know Dante McGee, another dear friend of the podcast. He played in the Dream Bowl, which I think would have passed by now. Yeah, he played in the Dream Bowl. Him and Robert Fuentes. I know he did not have the season we was all hoping for. I know Coach Donald. I kept saying that he believed that Dante could play at the next level. I still believe that. He did have that beautiful touchdown catch against Missouri Southern in the back of the end zone. I don't know. I felt like he might have put too much pressure on himself, which led to some of the drops. I still believe, though, that Dante is a versatile weapon, as shown by them willing to get him involved in the tight end screen game. You don't throw tight end screens if you don't believe that the tight end is worthy of it. That's not a guy that I think would definitely be missed, especially from a leadership standpoint, because he was the only tight end / H-back in that unit that had played snaps in college. I know Oscar Hammond, I think, was like a huge received a lot of help from Dante, so that's going to be a loss both on and off the field. However, the H-back taking his spot, Dominic Dunn. I really, this was a guy I said reminded me a lot of Dante when he came out of Mustang. Had a very good redshirt freshman season. I have no doubt that he can adequately fill that role. I think he had a touchdown this season against, was it the Missouri? No, it was. I know the man scored this season. Like I said before, I'm very high on Dominic. I think the sky's the limit. And then if you're looking at the actual tight end unit, obviously Oscar Hammond, who I said, go back to that signing day, was going to be tough to keep off the field. The man is a matchup nightmare because he's too fast for most linebackers, too big for most defensive back, and it clearly showed. He also had a really good game against Northwest Missouri. This is a guy. This is a guy. I really, truly believe by the time he finishes, he'll not only be one of the best tight ends in the conference, but in the whole country. I think he has that potential. I can't wait to see when he gets a full year of weight training on him, because he's coming from wide receivers, so he was learning a new position while also thriving as a true freshman and one of the toughest conferences in Division II football. So I think the sky's the limit for him. I'm really happy about that unit there that Coach Dimitri Donald has built. I think the sky's the limit there, and I'm really excited to see what that unit does moving forward. When looking at the numbers, Jacob Delso led the way this year, 29 catches for 445 yards, 4 touchdowns. Oscar Hammond, 25 catches, 227 yards, 1 touchdown. Dominic Dunn, 12 catches, 178 yards, 1 touchdown. Dante McGee, 20 catches, 171 yards, 1 touchdown. Terrell Davis, 15 catches, 160 yards. Madison Ridgeway, 8 catches, 148 yards, 1 touchdown. Mazelli, 4 of 9 catches, 104 yards. Diego Richards, 12 for 58, 1 touchdown. We just need to see. When it comes to Diego, we just got to fix the drops, because he was actually healthy this season. He only missed one game. He got open. We just got to make the catch. That literally is my only gripe with Diego, because everything is there. He's just got to put it together. Kevion Williams, 3 for 25. Dangerfield, 5 for 22. And then the long snapper, Peyton Hunt, 2 for 16.